24 years. I'm kind of a troublesome person. I'm a worker bee. I know how to get things done. And you can't tell me no.
You got that right.
You want to talk about Senator McCain? Let me tell you a quick story. Senator McCain, when I got put on this council, was backing a bill that's very detrimental to the health care bill, and actually has ties to this health care bill. It's a non-documented person. It's called a D.D.S. It's a dental health aid therapist. It's a high school diploma with 18 months training, giving anesthesia, running a drill that runs at 500,000 RPMs, pulling teeth and doing whatever they want with no consequences of the state board. Wow. In that bill, and anybody wants to read that bill, there's a bunch of mid-level providers. And guess what ties it all together? Right there. Okay? So I got this little photo shoot with Senator Kyle, and he was the guest speaker. And I had heard that he wouldn't listen to the American Dental Association. So I got a piece of paper, and I thought, I'm going to get my picture taken. So the gal came in and she said, hey, you don't got a lot of time, so make sure your name tags are taken up, you're nice and prim and proper. And I thought to myself, well, okay, that's what we're going to do. And I waited till I was the third at the end. Okay? And I got there and the gal came up to me and she goes, you are an absolute mess. And I said, Senator McCain, I want to talk to you about the Indian Health Care Bill, Improvement Act. And he goes to me, he goes, pretty much do it, reciting. People don't want to live there, much less give health care there. And I said, and he goes, besides, we got it walled off in Alaska. I said, no, you don't. You actually backed it in the Intertribal Council here in Arizona. I said, no, he didn't. I said, yes, I did. I got it in my car. He goes, I suppose you got a better idea. And he goes, no, we got it taken care of. I said, Senator, I've got to tell you, I thought you were a better historian than I am. That one man doesn't stop the federal government or the public health service. You know Senator McCain. What color did he get? He got red as beet. I got that shoot away. But what I will tell you is he came back to talk to me. He's sitting on my amendment. Common sense, no nonsense, and has a fair play. And it's based with Native American background. Folks, I got to tell you, we got to get back to common sense. A lot of us got it. A lot of people up there don't.
Kool-Aid.
Well, there's Kool-Aid too. Yeah. More questions? Yes?
How would you go about repealing the health care bill? Because I think they're going to force it upon us. So how would you go about repealing something like that?
First step is 10th Amendment. You have a golden opportunity coming. You had one already as a constitutional amendment in 2008 that Governor Napolitano jumped in and tried to cloud the scenario. That would have told you that no federal program could be impugned to you as a state of Arizona citizen. You could say no. That's the first step. So you got another chance at it. It's not going to be a constitutional amendment from what I understand, but there's going to be some other backgrounds. You definitely want to hear, if you're a Tea Party, you want to get the good doctor up here and hear all about it, okay? Because that's number one. You start at home, okay? Number two is, once you have that in place, you're going to have legal challenges. You have to write some more bills. But you know, I'm a believer that you attack on a number of issues or a number of playing fields. That's the strength of the big monster, but it's also their weakness. So you craft bills and you also go through the judiciary program. Got to tell you, if you haven't read a book, I want you to read a book. Okay? It's Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. Okay? If you read it, you will understand how you make this work for us. Okay? So what you do is you make sure that you are attacking a number of different playing fields. You have the legislative, the judiciary, and the executive branch. Your executive branch, I'm saying, is the state. Okay? And you got to make sure that your state entities are very strong. Okay? As a field worker, as a representative, I want to ensure that. I want to work with people. That's how you get solutions. Work with people, work with people, work with people, work with people. I don't know any other way. So that's the first thing. Okay? The other thing is I've been doing it, is taking small little tiny bills and trying to say, hey, if that bill ain't going through, let's get this one through. Interesting today, it's interesting what was brought up by the Democrats. A separate bill by revocation of the McCarran-Ferguson Act. It shouldn't be just health care insurance. It should be all the way across the board. It's It basically says that if 3 of us are dentists, we can't talk about fees. We can't even talk about certain business practices that insurance companies do. From their indemnity programs, PPOs, to their capitation rates, and their underwriting. Plus all your health care information is shared. Okay? I don't want to share that anymore. They don't need it. I can prove it. Okay? And I'm not the only one. The American Dental Association is standing firmly behind this bill and trying to push a little bill like this. That's all it is. And it's fair practices. Those are the things that we start doing. And then we have to start looking at, we all have to have a skin in the game. I look at my patients who have health savings accounts. Those are sacred. I know what goes in and I know what goes out. You know what's wrong with health savings accounts? I don't know. You're going to eventually use it. If you put a bunch of money away, that means that's one less person that I have to worry about as the federal government or state government. There's some hard choices coming, okay? When you start looking at the Medicaid, it was meant as a safety net. It was mimicked after the Harriman Plan of the Union Pacific. Okay, what you got to do is start defining Medicaid. What does it constitute? But allow a Medicare Advantage. Jim said it. It's great when you allow competition in ancillary insurance premiums, but don't tie up the physicians either. Give you an example. If a physician knows that you're under Medicare and you come and say, hey, however $100 and you see me and I'll pay you for cash. He's ever caught? It's 3 to 5 years where they can't be on Medicaid or Medicare. Come on. Holy cow. The thing I want with Medicare Advantage is if you're going to buy that, I don't want the collusionary aspect that we were talking about. I want free competition for all insurance companies giving that. That's where you start, folks. Holy cow. I own it. I take care of it. I own it. I take care of it. If I don't take care of it. Now, the hardest part about healthcare is going to be children. And that's one of those ones that you're going to have to take as an onion and start peeling it away a little bit at a time. Okay? Exemptions from anti-competitive clauses is one. Number 2 is, if we're going to teach people how to eat right, it starts in the schools. I'll give you a quick example of some legislation that actually is good. 2008 Farm Bill allowed municipalities or states or local entities to define what they want as food stamps. Please tell me what's on the WIC diet that shouldn't be on everyone's diet. Complex carbohydrates, proteins, dairy, milk, very few cereals. You can't trade them for drugs. You can't trade them for shoes. Wow. I want to challenge that one. I've told California that. I've told First Things First that. If I'm asking the American consumer to buckle down, why couldn't I just take away a duplicity, take an inventory away from you that's being taxed? And you tell me what's on the WIC diet. That's a homework assignment. Go find out what's on the WIC diet. And you tell me what's not on there that everybody should. And you know what? Here's where our kids will teach us. The number 1 school in our class in school right now is cooking. Kids fight to get in cooking because what? They ain't getting cooked for. Well, what a great opportunity to start things at the basic level. And maybe I'm a little old school. You know, when I was in 1st and 2nd grade, we had this teacher named Gail Tugwell. And in PE, guess what we learned to do? Walk on the outside, roll in. Walk in the outside, roll in. Walk in the outside, roll in. And it sooner or later became habit. Boy, there's some really good things about the way we were instructed, how we do things. There's a great avenue for children. And the power, I see some of you are grandparents. I'll make sure I've got to say this and I'll say it again. As a parent, I'll tell my kids 5 times, do this, do this, do this, do this. But if a grandparent says it, you know what Grandpa and Grandma said to me? And you're like, holy cow. Do not underestimate, do not lose your ability as a grandparent to make a difference in someone's life. Do not. Another question.
Can I just make a comment?
Sure, Jim.
My grandparents told me it was okay to have ice cream cake for breakfast. As a dentist, how do you feel about that?
Well,